Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with a special guest, John, aka XJCloud. John, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Glad to be playing my new favorite legacy deck at the moment. I've been out of sorts for a couple of weeks, but wanted to get some more reps in.
Yeah, I
Happy to
have
join you.
played a few games with this deck, and even just from those few games, it felt pretty powerful, I will say. It's yeah, it's kind of obviously a new mechanic coming to Legacy, and it's kind of taken the format, if not formats, by storm. I know that's also doing quite well in Vintage, which I didn't expect.
Yeah, same. I didn't know it was quite that good, but I think this week has or I guess next week, there's a vintage super and a legacy super on like back-to-back days. So I was thinking about just playing initiative in both of them.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you know if the token on MTGO will still be around for those events?
I think so. I think that's kind of what it's for specifically. Like, because it's like a whole week of super qualifiers. I think the token lasts until like January or something.
Okay, very cool. Because I assume that kind of changes what you expect as well. Because say a deck like this that might be a little bit priced out by cards like White Plume Adventurer, if someone has a token that allows them to gain any card, then you might see a lot of people come back to this.
Yes, I've seen the league metagame shift a lot. I have friends that have posted screenshots of, oh yeah, I played against Mono White 4 times in this past league. I saw right before this stream Yoshiwada, the prominent Japanese D&T player. He posted his what is it, a prelim result, and it was Mono White Initiative, Mono White Initiative, Red White Initiative, Mono White Initiative. So people
uh,
are into the tokens, all access tokens.
do you know if they've picked up any initiative cards in D&T a little bit like how Evan has been testing them out?
I haven't checked on Yoshiwada's lists in a little bit, but I don't think he has. I know Evan Akaleth has been experimenting with White Plume or Seasoned Dungeoneer, which is great because of down the road, if White Plume does get banned, I imagine Seasoned Dungeoneer will get to stick around, and then Evan will have done all the legwork for me to know that if I can get to play Seasoned Dungeoneer in D&T or not.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. Um, One quick question I had was around the actual dungeon. So, there are other dungeons you can choose, correct? The one that
uh,
is currently being
no,
played.
so you can't choose other dungeons with the specifically the take the initiative mechanic. You
Ah,
will
okay.
always venture into the other undercity. But if you go into it, if you start in a different dungeon using one of the, I forget what the keyword's actually called, venture into the dungeon, something like
Hmm.
that. Then
Yeah.
you get to go into
Okay.
one of the other 3 dungeons, and then when the initiative triggers on your upkeep, you'll just go through that dungeon instead.
Gotcha. A little bit like the card that's been added to Alurin.
Yes, a
Yeah.
Serac, whatever the
Yeah, I
legendary.
wasn't going to try to pronounce its name.
It's got way too many like R's and C's and E's.
Yes. Um, but one thing that I like about the initiative deck so far, and kind of across the board, is that it's kind of just a bunch of playsets. So it seems like it's quite a consistent deck.
Yes, I mean that's kind of the game plan of this deck is pretty easy. It's play the really broken cards, and you kind of start scraping the bottom of the barrel really fast. Like after we get through Seasoned Dungeoneer, White Plume, Solitude, Chalice, whatever. We're playing Elite Spellbinder in this deck, not exactly a legacy powerhouse.
Hey, I think Eddie Zamora wants to talk to you about that.
People tried it in D&D for a little bit. I was not excited to play it, and it did not stick around very long. But happens to fill some needed gaps in this deck in terms of matching creature types for Cavern of Souls, which I think is super important in this deck.
Yeah, that's very true. I actually played against the deck on Punishing Mav last week on stream, and although Elite Spellbinder wasn't great, it did take away a Punishing Fire, which just bought the Mono White Initiative deck the time to actually just have lethal by the time I could start dealing with the threats, which is really annoying. A little bit like how Chalice against things like maybe D&T or Maverick, just turning off swords for 1 or 2 turns so you can get in with your threat. that by the time the Chalice actually gets removed, you've pretty much got lethal already, even if I have X amount of removal spells, which is really annoying. But yeah, it obviously plays a pretty nice role in the deck. And being a flyer is pretty nice as well for a deck that doesn't typically have many.
Yeah. Originally, I was really into Anointed Peacekeeper. Someone in the chat's asking about it. But what I basically landed on, and a lot of these points I talked about in my article, which I guess maybe I can plug at some point, huh?
Yeah, 100%. I'll put it in chat.
Oh, okay. I didn't have it up at the ready, but yes. So I wrote a whole article about Initiative Stompy, and specifically Elite Spellbinder over Anointed Peacekeepers, because against Delver, you really want a 3-power flyer. Trading off is much more important than like just being a 3/3 body. And then in the mirror, flying is much more important, I think. You need to be able to fly over your opponent's stuff to take back the initiative sometimes. But overall, I wish I could play Anointed Peacekeeper because I like that card a lot more, and I think it's in general better, but there are some pretty important use cases for a 3-power flyer right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very true. One quick one is Archon of Emeria, which is also a flyer, but not in this list.
Yes. So Archon is a card that I kind of want to play, and I've actually been kind of fiddling around with slightly different versions of this deck. Right now, I don't think the mana base can reasonably support playing Archon of Emeria. It's really based around Cavern of Souls and kind of a unification of creature types across the board. You have humans and clerics, and that's it, basically. Besides, like Solitude. And that's kind of where Elite Spellbinder fits in. It's a human when you need to play Thalias and Dungeoneers. It's a cleric when you need to play White Plumes, stuff like that. And Archon just really, really taxes the mana base. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 13 true white sources, plus Petals and Caverns, which are kind of white sources. So It can be kind of dicey to cast your Archon on turn 2 into a Dungeoneer or into a Palace Jailer.
Yeah, and I guess, as you said before, the 3 power is huge as well. An Archon can trade with a Flip Delver, but if your opponent's attacking with 2 DRCs, then you're in a pretty tough spot where you have 3 mana flyer that can't actually trade with one of them.
Yeah, that's the other thing, is that Archon is obviously really, really good when you play it on turn 1 or 2, especially against Delver, if they just go tapped fetch land, go, untap, fetch a tapped Volcanic, untap, then bolt it. But after exactly turn 1 or 2, it falls off really fast if they just have a removal spell at the ready, whereas Elite Spellbinder can always at least tax a spell, trade with the bolt, stuff like that. Not to say that Archon is bad. I think Archon is really good. And like I was saying, I'm trying to work out a mana base that can support both Archon and Cavern of Souls, because I think Cavern of Souls is really important for the deck. But Archon seems like it's really useful in a variety of matchups that I think are kind of problematic for this deck right now.
Yeah, I guess speaking of the mana base, do you have any reasoning for mono white or the red splash, or vice versa?
So I think the red splash is basically just for Caves of Chaos Adventure, which makes sense. The card quality goes up a lot if you start playing more cards that take the initiative, because those are just your best cards almost always. But I just really don't like stretching the mana base. I basically, with all of my decks, I will play a very conservative and very easy to cast all of your spells mana bases. I don't like trying to get those super greedy things going. So with D&T, people were playing not enough white sources for a long time, and I had to yell at people and try to get them to play good mana bases. Moon Stompy, kind of the same thing almost. People were not really respecting your necessary red source count or mana or number of lands, stuff like that. I think this deck doesn't need to play Caves of Chaos Adventure, except for specifically the mirror. So it kind of sucks that you're disadvantaged in the mirror, but I think it makes you worse in most of your other matchups that matter.
Yeah. Speaking of kind of matchups and I guess getting ready for a league or a big tournament, would you say that a few decks have switched around Chalice and Swords in the main deck and sideboard? Is that kind of a consideration on what you can start with? Say with leagues, I guess without the token where you might not expect so much mono white, would you expect a bit more combo decks and so play the Chalice in the main deck? But if you do assume there's going to be a few more creature decks, would you play the Swords in the main and the Chalice in the side?
So initially, my thought was that there's no way that this deck becomes enough of the meta percentage that I want to be teching for it over something like Delver. But now that's very much not the case. Looking back, like over the past month or so, so the top 2 decks are like pretty clearly Delver and this deck, and Plow's really good against both of those. Notably, Chalice is really good against Delver still, but I think that there's definitely a case that you can play Plow over Chalice now, and that's another thing that I've been trying to experiment with. Tuning the deck towards beating not only Delver, but like beating the mirror as consistently as possible in your game 1 configurations, and then sideboarding much more heavily for combo and stuff, since your deck suddenly becomes a much weaker to combo without Chalice.
Yeah, look, I didn't expect a metagame where Delver players were talking about Blood Knight because it didn't die to gut shot.
Yeah, we were like 3 steps ahead of where I thought the meta was going to go. I didn't even know Unchained Berserker existed, and suddenly that showed up. And then we were playing Walking Ballistas and Gut Shots, and then they started playing Blood Knights to go around those. Or it's the Wild West right now in Legacy.
Yeah. So I think like it sounds like the red-white build has a bit better of a matchup against the deck. What kind of other things do you not want to run into? Because that's kind of been the talk of the town, especially for Maverick players and sort of nigh Adepts players, is how do you actually beat the deck, or how do you nullify it? And there's been a few talks about like...
There's another point that I touched on in the article a lot, because I know a lot of people don't want to play the deck and want to try to beat it. And I think the best way outside of like play super fast combo, because super fast combo will often run over force of will or non-force of will decks. The other way is you have to have a mixture of wide boards and or hard to answer creatures and removal spells to control the board. People, Delver started playing pro white creatures or True Name Nemesis because they're like near impossible to answer. And Delver was already pretty good at controlling the board, just based on how well it plays as a tempo deck, being able to answer stuff, force of wills, bolts, stuff like that. Don't let anything stick around, and then don't let them run away with the initiative. Control has a harder time because they can control the board, but they can't take the initiative as well as Delver can. Leading into Maverick, it's probably kind of the opposite, where it's reasonable to try to keep creatures in play, your big creature deck, but it's harder to consistently remove everything that they play. This deck plays a lot of beefy creatures and removal spells, and it's really hard to get that mixture right for a lot of decks. And I think I don't know if you can get the mixture right for a lot of decks. Like I know D&T's been struggling, regardless of the fact that it's a deck full of both removal spells and creature, just because the speed of initiative stomping is just kind of too much. So the alternative game plan is mostly just go around them or go under them with a combo deck like, Belcher or Oops, like really fast Doomsday or whatever. Or weird decks like Elves has been moving back to Nettle Elves, because I think that deck has a much better initiative matchup, because you don't have to just play to the... Well, you do kind of play to the board, but not in the same way that Newton Elves does. You're not a mid-range deck, you are much more of a combo deck that can just blow up from nowhere. Additionally, stuff like Painter and Cephalid Breakfast have proven to be matchups that Initiative kind of struggles with. Decks that both play to the board and have this like backdoor combo element where they don't need to care about what you're doing. Stuff like that. It's a really tough needle to thread.
Yeah, it is. It's such a good value deck as well that, say Source to Plowshares, obviously a fantastic creature removal spell. If you use it on a white plume, they've already replaced it with a basic, and then you're obviously getting the initiative bonuses as well coming down. So like the 1-for-1 trades just don't line up as 1-for-1 trades against a large majority of the deck.
Yeah, that's the big issue, is that it's not just I'm playing against a stompy deck with no card advantage, I'm just gonna kill their creatures or whatever, and I'm gonna win. You have to kill the creatures and take the initiative, or you're just gonna get buried anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of kind of, 3 steps ahead, has the initiative kind of community talked about anything that no one's really latched onto yet as a way to beat the deck, and is kind of hoping that people don't really find it? Or do you think most answers have been mostly
discovering it? I think control players are moving a little bit slow. I feel like they're dragging their feet a little bit. The way that I see control beating initiative is if they move back to a basic heavy Icewind Quaddle deck. I think Icewind Quaddle is like one of the best cards you can play against initiative, but control players don't want to do that. They're gonna keep playing their 4-color no basics piles and try to win with their Uro and Minskimbu or whatever, instead of just trying to like play a mixture of like cheap, flashy, flying creatures and removal spells to take the initiative back. We've seen some good control players kind of pivot that way. Maybe not even control players, just kind of blue players in general. Maxtortion built like a really wild Bant initiative Stonebladey deck because Dream's a really bad card for this deck to deal with. And you can also play like Icefang Quaddles in those shells, stuff like that.
Yeah, that deck was sweet, and yeah, thankfully Max will be on early next week playing that Bant Initiative deck because it looks really fun and it looks really nice and clean as well. A lot of play sets, exactly what I want, and of course Noble Hierarch with White Plume to get out earlier. I could see where like Pernicious Steed and like Stypher could have a pretty good matchup with this deck, at least controlling the board, but maybe not taking the initiative.
Yeah, it sounds like some people in chat are also latching on to the same idea. I talked a lot with PVDH about it, and he said that he predicted that control decks would like instantly like move to Icefang plus Strix, just like I think that a theoretical Icefang 4 Strix deck would be near unbeatable for mono white, but luckily no one plays Alurin, so
yeah, and I haven't seen too much of like a Bug Urion recently.
Yeah.
Last card I want to talk about is Lorwyn, which I know that Evan's also been playing a lot of in Death and Taxes. Is this a pretty important card for Mono White Initiative?
Not really. It's it's a cool new card, but it's just you kind of want to play some amount of artifact hate of some kind. Null Rod hits the LED decks as well as like 8 cast and Painter and stuff, and Loran is better against Urza's Saga, combos with like Caracas and like your Touch the Spirit Realms and stuff, so it's a little bit more functional with the deck as a whole, but obviously less impactful than a card like Null Rod can be. But in general, you just kind of want a card that helps against the Saga matchups, can be a little tricky, 8 cast, Painter, stuff like that. So just kind of pick your poison, Null Rods, Lorans, whatever other disenchants.
Cool. Last question. Mulliganing. I've heard a lot of players talk about opponents who should be mulliganing a lot more aggressively with this deck. What are you wanting to do with the opener in the blind?
Do you want to cast an initiative creature? Most of the hands that don't have an initiative creature are like not very good. It's been a learning experience for me because there have often been 7-card hands where I'm like, well, I have like 3 spells and 4 lands or whatever, 4 spells and 3 lands. Why wouldn't this be a keep? And it's just like, if you go Thalia into like Elite Spellbinder, it can be good in some matchups, but it can just be like totally not even close to enough in other matchups. Specifically, a trap that I've fallen into against Delver is that you just can't really be an aggro deck because you're a 4 Solitude, and then postboard you're a 4 Plow, 4 Solitude deck, and then when you're trying to beat them down with 3/1 flyers, and then they play a Murktide, and you have to plow it, and then all your damage is undone. It's kind of a problem. So it relies a lot on the closing speed of the initiative creatures, but it's still very matchup dependent. But most of my losses have felt like if I had like maybe mulliganed a bad hand. I constantly think about my finals matchup against Matt Vok in the Showcase Challenge, where like I had 2 pretty mopey moles to 6, where I like kept land like Thalia, Elite Spellbinder, and stuff like that, and I just like never saw an initiative creature, and if I had mulled to 5 and like just played a White Plume on turn 2, might have just demolished him.
Look, maybe you'll get a chance again in this Super Series coming up. Lastly, anything you want to shout out in this section before we get into it?
How many viewers do we have right now? Do we have enough for me to shill about the Owl House yet? Yeah, that's probably enough. All right, everyone in chat, you gotta go watch the Owl House. It's on Disney Plus. You gotta go watch it.
Nice.
And then you gotta tweet about it so I can add you to my thread of people that I've told to watch the Owl House.
I also made this a blue deck because of how many cards you draw. I thought you'd like that.
The initiative is card advantage. That's the thing that a lot of people don't get is that it's not just a huge aggro tool. It also is just you get a bunch of creatures and draw cards and just It's really fucked up.
Yeah, it's something you don't really. It doesn't seem natural as a white player to be able to like draw cards and like just get so much advantage early on. It's kind of a weird experience to play it and like have four things on the board but have sort of four cards in hand that they've replaced.
Yes, and
Like to
that's
not
why
just have a
you can just kind of spew sometimes. Oh, yeah, I'll just go City of Traders, Chrome Mox, pitch a card, play my White Plume. Who cares? Who cares if all my lands blow up and I pitched a card for this Chrome Mox when my opponent's just going to get buried by the initiative anyway?
Is this you? Is Frodo BG you?
Yes, that is
Okay. Okay. Nice.
Frodo BG was the alt that I made. Me and Lunel had trophy leader going into showcase weekend. We were both at 6 trophies, I think.
Nice.
Micrograms up at the top now is also a Knit Stompy player who I've talked to on occasion.
And I believe Trees Down is Max?
Trees Down is Max, yeah.
Okay.
I like making alts mostly just for fun. I had fun secret testing, like not really talking about the deck for a little bit, for like a week or two before the showcase. Easy keep.
Easy, yeah.
And,
like,
I mean, this engine just is great. It's not even like a weird, like, it's only good because we have White Plume. We just have enough lands and stuff to do normal things. So we're probably playing against the what do we want to call it? It's got like 8 Narset effects and 8 wheels, right?
yeah.
Karn, mono blue, Karn,
like
Echo,
stuff. Karn Echo, yeah. Nice. So I assume he was going Tomb, Petal, White Plume.
Yes. It's good that we have the Solitude. It protects us from potentially getting Hull Breachered at least, which is slightly more likely than getting Narsetted, although not as likely because they do have the Sapperzan Scary or whatever that card's called.
I've never heard of that card.
Their card in play. It's the depletion,
gotcha. Yes.
the blue depletion land.
Yes. I've also seen this somewhat in like Thoughtlash decks with Oracle, but probably more so in these kind of Echo like fast decks.
Yeah, they're gonna be playing like Karns and stuff. They'll cast a Narset here or whatever. Yep. Good news, we can just kill a Narset. Unless they echo us. That's bad news.
They do have the Echo.
That's pretty bad news. There's no reason to like pitch. You could like cast the Solitude to exile a white card, so you're less likely to draw it later, but I don't think that really matters. I think you just need to hope that they have a bad 7.
Oh, another Echo.
Well, it wasn't the best 7 for them, I guess. It was just they gained a Lotus Petal and discarded our Chrome Mox.
Yeah, and now they most likely lose the Narset, which is kind of nice just to keep them off an extra card.
So Will into hand. So I think we're just immensely dead. But is it even... we probably have to go right. The stash is important and the scry is important. Peat Bog, what the heck? Are they like splashing black? Yeah, we probably have to go Lost Well. I don't think we're beating them down reasonably with 7 cards in hand. Yeah. And they have a Saga in play already. So getting to Scry 2 and then making a treasure for like mana seems like a reasonable option. Well, those cards don't seem very good. Well, that card's also not very good.
There is really no advantage of holding it, especially against a Narset Echo deck.
Yeah, we're probably going to be able to cast any spell we draw because we're going to stash anyway. Oh yeah, my favorite thing about White Plume, you have to click on it every upkeep. Really wish they would just keep Vigilance instead. Would have been like much worse as a card in general, but it's just so annoying to click on. What did they draw that they just didn't cast anything?
Oh, interesting.
Like Karn? So they are on a black splash. Peat Bog Underground. So what black cards are they even playing? Shield Dread? Double black seems...
Yeah, Shieldred's tough because it doesn't combo with Days Undoing.
Yeah, it only combos with Echo. All right, so we're not attacking into the Saga, which is unfortunate. Yeah, stash. So let's just cast spells at least. Let's draw like Season Dungeon here.
1, 2, 3.
That's not Season Dungeon here. Maybe next turn. Yeah, they get a 3/3. So wait, you could blow up the Saprozan Scary and right. Oh no, they have Chromox. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough because if we
actually, I think it is correct to attack, right?
Yeah, because then next turn they get a 4/4
and attack us, and we have to block. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least this way, the correct play for them is to not block, but we just get in 3 damage. It's bad if they have like Hold Breacher, then but if they Hold Breacher, we're just dying. We need them to have basically nothing because we can't beat anything. It looks like we're getting
both.
Oh. Are we also getting Hold Breacher? There it is.
Okay.
So now we can still draw Touch the Spirit Realms or more initiative creatures.
Yeah, Saga, this version definitely speeds things up because I've played against the mono blue version before that is kind of annoying with the whole Echo lines, but only has Hull Breaches to really win the game.
Yeah.
But obviously this version can be a bit more...
Yeah, so now we can draw... we actually can't draw Solitude, which is awkward, but... no sense in blocking. We need to draw touch or initiative creature or something.
Yeah.
But also they pitched a Force of Will to their Chrome Mox, so like we're probably just dead. They probably just have second Force.
Yeah, the Narset into Echo is kind of exactly why you play the deck, and
yeah, like this is one of the decks that definitely tries to like high roll against decks without Force of Will. Yeah, and you just concede in the next game.
Yeah. Okay, boarding.
All right. Well, so this is a matchup where you're much happier that you have Null Rod in your deck than Laron, but obviously they're both great. What do they do? They're pretty one-trick pony. They're wheeling you and cast Karn. That's about it.
Yeah, like I'm never sure if because this deck doesn't have Graveyard Hate otherwise, if Leyline turning off Echo is enough, but it's pretty tough because it's obviously one of those cards. It's very Feast or Famine. It's in opening great, but as a top deck, it's not as great.
So Mind Sensor doesn't do anything, right? It's just like turns off Saga searches. It's not really anything. How do we feel about Mindbreak Trap? Are they casting 3 spells? I feel like the answer is yes, because Hull Breacher isn't that scary. The way we lose is like the Narset into LED Echo, which obviously you can play around with pretty easily, but I think Trap's good.
And I guess the thing about Mindbreak as well against Echo is that they're more likely to play out things like Lotus Petal and build up Storm before they actually Echo.
Yeah, that all makes sense. So we can cut the Ballistas and the Jailers. I think they're just really slow. We want some removal. I like Solitude because it's free insurance versus Hull Breacher.
Yeah.
I don't think it's enough to want like Plow because it costs 1 mana. So we could think about Ley Lines, but I'm not even sure what we would cut from the deck after this. I don't think I like this configuration.
Yeah, it's still really nice because you have obviously your 8.
Could maybe board out the touches for Ley Lines. Touch is like okay. It's touch is maybe important to deal with Ensnaring Bridge. Like Karn Bridge can be a problem. I've trapped my way through a couple of bridges in my life, though. I think I like this configuration well enough.
Okay. Yeah, I guess instead of bringing in Ley Lines, we kind of have Mindbreak Trap. So instead of turning off the graveyard as a resource. And
Maybe we bring in Leyline on the draw versus on the play. We can like play like Chalice on 0, which effectively shuts off Echo anyway.
Nice.
Maybe we can consider that in a game 3. Well, this is a hand of magic cards.
Yeah, not really doing a whole lot.
Yeah, it's close, but not quite. All right, this is. Ugh. Don't know if I'm comfortable going to. Maybe. Yeah, I think we're fine going to 5. If you just have a hand with like 3 mana and like a Chalice of the Void.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Depths, where I kind of look for, like, especially in the turbo builds, like Dark Depths, Urborg, Hexmage, and then anything on top is gravy. So like Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, White Plume, and then obviously wanting something like Chalice or
like any hate card. If we have like a turn 1 Chalice or Null Rod or something.
There we go. Oh, no white mana.
Well, yeah, we definitely have to stop here, and we just keep. What do we keep? Those 3 plus like Solitude plus Spellbinder, I guess. Solitude plus white card. Ditch the city and the Dungeoneer.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I guess because the extra 2 mana doesn't really help anyway. The land we want is a white source.
Yes, we just want to draw a white source. Cavern casts both our creatures, and likely the Spellbinder is just going to get like pitched to a Solitude or something if we need to. So Spellbinder and
actually, do they play any 1 mana spells, or are we just chalicing 0 here?
No, Chalice on 0. Yes, that's why we want the Chalice.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Could have been a disaster.
Yeah, it could have been. Just like that's like my old
Chalice on 1, go. All right, LED, kill you.
Yeah. What do you call it? Muscle memory from Eldrazi Stumpy.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have an Ancient Tomb and a Chalice. You're just like, cast it on 1. Why not? All right, so now I'll just top deck a white source. Everything's gonna be fine. I want to know what these black cards are. What are we doing with Peat Bog and Underground Sea in our deck?
I assume it's still White Plume here, like elite.
Huh? Maybe we. It's a good question.
Because
we need to kill them as fast as possible. I don't know how much a 2-mana tax does to the big mana deck. I think I'm in for White Plume. I think Spellbinder can still tag a important magic card in on next turn as well, unless we get like wheeled again, obviously. But that's our life.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit harder because they need to have.
Yeah, they have Peat Bog specifically, so they have to like go blue source, and they have Hull Breacher, and that opens us up to solituding them. And that, if that's the case, then we want Adventure in play. Yeah, I'm down to Adventure.
Yeah, I like that.
Just cast the good card.
And second white source for Solitude's really nice.
Yeah. Hard cast a Solitude down the line. Probably not, but you know.
John, I need you to come on. We got this.
I mean, I'm ecstatic if they Hull Breacher try to wheel us here. It's great.
Okay. I think it is 4 mana.
Karn? Gonna Karn bridge us?
Oh no.
That would be unfortunate.
Don't you do it.
Oh, Narset. Are we just gonna get Narset wheeled again?
If they find it off this Narset.
Okay, they're digging for it.
I'm causing a ruckus. Oh, just another Narset. Okay.
Oh, thank God. All right, but dead. Yeah.
But they're Chromoxing here. Is the last card Echo? Oh! Okay. I get it.
All right. Sure.
It's all good. We can come back from this. Wow, they hadn't even played a land yet.
Yeah, they went pedal.
Yeah.
Narset. All right, I think we have to go right again.
Yeah.
We're never going to kill them in time.
At least our mana's on point.
Yeah, we have more than nothing in place, so we can actually... that's nothing. We don't want these. That's also nothing. Well, kill an Narset, and call it a day. We could potentially, this stash plus like any land, we could cast the Solitude on a Saga token. So it's not, end of the world stuff yet.
Okay. Two,
all right.
3, 4. Okay.
Probably gonna get Force of Will, but we can play our thing and attack them, and then pray they don't have Force of Will. Are they just gonna block? I think you're probably priced into just solituting that. All right, well, we get to go to Catacombs at least. We're more in this game than we were in the last one.
Yeah.
Because they didn't also get to like cast Hold Reacher this turn. So we can block, go to Catacombs, and then we could potentially get to Throne still with the Menace skeleton. Wait. I think we're supposed to block there.
Yeah, apologies, yeah. Yep. Still learning a little bit about the initiative.
Yes. We don't want to lose control of the monarchy. We'll just draw White Plume, it's fine. We didn't draw White Plume. Less fine. Yeah, because if we block with the White Plume there, we get a 4/1 skeleton in our upkeep. We can like cast Thalia, make them attack with both. And then we could use the skeleton, get thrown, and then potentially try to like high roll a Solitude or a Laron or something. But now we're just kind of dead.
Yeah, that's my bad. Apologies.
It's all good. Wasn't looking the greatest for us. They still have 3 cards in hand. That's what happens. You get Force of Will, and then turn 2 Narset Wield when we could beat Hold Reacher Wheel.
Yeah, it's pretty tough with I mean, it did show that like I think Mindbreak Trap is a fine plan against this sort of deck.
Would have been nice to have our double Mindbreak Trap hand from the 7, but obviously if we go Chromox go, then they know something's up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it's obviously want to block the 8/8 there.
Block the one that doesn't kill us, but
Thanks, John. Look, we got that out of the way. That was just a learning experience, and I think from here we can
shake the rust off.
We can come back. But yeah, that's a tough matchup. Like I think for a lot of sort of Maverick D&T, I know D&T especially. I know Jeff from the Canadian Threshold always talks about the mono blue Echo deck and how it's pretty hard for D&T to interact with, especially
yeah, just like praise on non-Force Will decks. I think Initiative Stompy has a pretty reasonable matchup. Didn't really get there for us, but small sample size. They don't always Force a Will, turn 2 Narset Wheel you.
This is a mull. I think we're just
if one of these white cards was a White Plume Adventurer, it's probably a keep, but yeah.
Yeah.
We just ship this for much.
2, 3, 4.
So we could cast a turn 1 Seasoned Dungeoneer, but I think it's probably more wise to ship the Chromox and just go turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Seasoned Dungeoneer.
Yeah,
Uncounterable like Seasoned Dungeoneer.
Definitely. Hey, Force of Phil, welcome.
This one's tough because then if we just like play Chalice on 1 and we're in the mirror, then we look like idiots. But I think turn 1 on the play, Chalice on 1 is just going to be good enough. On the draw, I might keep like you get I might keep like the Chrome Mox over like a Cavern of Souls or something, just in case you're in a matchup where you want to turn one on Dungeoneer instead. I think in the blind, I'm happy to just slam a Chalice on the play and hose a bunch of the decks in the format.
Look, question for you is, why does Seasoned Dungeoneer have Explore? Why does it need that?
my favorite mechanic from Ixalan. Is this Reanimator?
I'm going to assume Reanimator as well.
Yeah. Black Fetch, double Lotus Petal. Probably Reanimator. Well, good thing we put a Chalice on one, huh?
Yeah.
Now we put our Cavern on human and play our Lotus Petal, cast our Clock, and then kill them. It's kind of weird that they just like played out all their petals though if they are Reanimator, because if against a Chalice on one in game one, usually one of the only ways they can discard a reanimation target is by hand size. They can also unmask themselves, but
yeah, it's very true. I wonder if they were like thinking about if they like top deck the Chalice, if we just play it for 0.
Yeah, but like they were on the draw. Maybe I guess if they didn't have a fatty in hand, then probably not a good play to move to discard that turn.
No, instep plays pretty nice.
I mean, yeah, we're just gonna beat him down. Fun fact, I don't know if you know this about Seasoned Dungeoneer, but its trigger counters any other Seasoned Dungeoneer triggers that you would target it with.
Say that again?
So Seasoned Dungeoneer, the trigger will give the targeted creature pro... Okay, so first off, we'll go to Forge. We're going to beat them to death. But when you attack with it, it will also trigger any other Seasoned Dungeoneers that you haven't played, like this one we're about to cast.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
You can't target the same Seasoned Dungeoneer with multiple Seasoned Dungeoneer triggers, because the first one will resolve and give it pro creatures.
Yes, okay.
Very weird and unintuitive, but yes, we're just going to hit them for like 10 here. You don't have to cast the Dungeoneer pre or post combat here because it doesn't matter, like I was just talking about. But we're just going to cast Dungeoneer and hit them. I guess we can get slightly more information off our Explorer, but yeah, I don't want a Lotus Petal.
Yeah, this card's insane.
Yeah, Season Dungeoneer is just like really messed up. Like White Plume's good because it costs 3 mana. Season Dungeoneer is just a really powerful card. Just 6/7 unblockable on turn 3.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a Kappa Cannoneer a little bit.
Yeah, I've heard it referred to as like stuff like Kappa Cannoneer, Big Tree Nemesis, stuff like that. Now we trap them. My favorite room.
It's a trap.
Don't target yourself. Legal play. You are allowed to target yourself with trap.
Yeah. Honestly, I thought at Eternal Weekend we would have seen some like mono white Dreadnought decks. They're like main deck like Hushbringer and Torporob.
And we got him. Nice. And that's why you cast Chalice on turn 1 instead of dying. All right, now we get to bring in, our 500. We really don't have a very good great Reanimator configured sideboard, so it's nice that we won game 1 here.
Yeah, I think Trap on the draw is fine because it stops things like Ritual, Entomb, Reanimate spell, or
yeah, I've had hit or miss results, but I think I'm leaning more hit, especially with how this current sideboard is configured. And I'll usually bring in Mind Sensor and Containment Priest as well. Mind Sensor is not very good, but it can turn off Entombs.
Yeah, that's very true. Priest is nice. The Ballistas are just too slow. The Solitudes are good. The Chalices are good. I believe just want to keep the 8.
So something that I do a lot in this matchup is just start aggressively cutting the initiative creatures, especially with Leyline over Macabre, because sometimes if you just Leyline them, they'll thought seize your initiative creature and reanimate it and just kill you with it.
Nice.
So you can just cut like probably all 10 of those for like 4 plows. You can cut the jailers too. They're just kind of whatever. And then play just like 4 Swords to Plowshares and the 4th touch. Nice. I don't know if that math added up. Or just the 4 plows. Perfect.
Yeah. Nice. That's cool.
It becomes a little hard to actually kill them, but I don't think that's the super important versus Reanimator. I think stopping them is the hard part.
Yeah.
Now we'll probably just mulligan into Leyline.
Yeah, like this does have a
Yeah.
white source, but on the
If this
draw,
hand had like a turn one thing, maybe like if we had like a Chromox of the Samaria's Call, but I think you're just on the draw, especially. Oh, easy.
uh,
Yeah, we
is
have
it?
Leyline into turn one Thalia into turn two Spellbinder. I think we just bottom the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, bottom
So
the
we
call
go.
means you go Cavern, Petal, Thalia into City Spellbinder.
Yeah.
Yeah, we Leyline them.
Yeah, and turn one Thalia is just so good, especially if they just pass here.
Yeah, if they're like trying to line up a Serenity or something, and then you Thalia the Serenity so they can't cast it, and then you like a Spellbinder or something. All right, depending on what they take here, maybe we turn one a Spellbinder instead. They might just take the Petal, but then you're also fine. They could like take the Spellbinder, reanimate it, exile the Thalia. That's like not a winning line. Oh, they're just going to take all our threats and hope for the best.
Okay.
All right, well, we have mana. We can cast anything. We just need to find it.
Yeah, it also makes obviously uh I assume we just want to name Cavern on Human in the blind here, then play Petal and Pass.
Yes, we cut all the white plume, so Cavern. The only thing that Cavern and Human isn't casting is Solitude at this point. I think.
Cool.
Well, actually, yeah, with combined with the Petal at least. Yeah, because we can draw Mind Sensor, which would be a little awkward, but you know, we'll just cast off the Petal if we need to.
It's always nice to see Mind Sensor back. That card got me into modern.
I hate Mind Sensor. I hate it so much. Mind Sensor has done nothing but fuck me.
But it is literally an owl. How do you hate it? I thought it was one of your favorite cards.
It's a weird bird. It's definitely not an owl. Baleful Strix is an owl. Mind Sensor is like a weird.
Excuse me. Even Mind Sensor is an owl.
No way that thing's an owl.
Have you seen its face?
You're pulling it up.
100%. That is an owl.
Is that an owl? Okay, maybe OG art is definitely more owlish.
That's a falcon?
It's a falcon?
Oh, damn it, it is. Damn it. I think we need bans in chat.
any bird experts in chat want to tell me what that bird face is?
Damn. That actually changes a lot. I thought it was an owl.
Now it's unplayable.
Now it's unplayable.
But yeah, the Mind Sensor story I always like to tell is one time in Modern in like 2015 or something. Oh, we probably just want to plow this with the trigger on the stack, I guess.
Yeah.
Does take off our only real white source, which is a little awkward, but I'm probably pretty happy killing this. They have 2 cards in hand. Plenty of time to draw a real white source, or just a human.
Yeah, exactly. And even then, just having a flyer is kind of annoying. If we did top deck, like, I guess we don't have any white.
I just wouldn't play this at this point.
Yeah.
Just wait until you draw like an Even Mind Sensor. Or like another land. Draw another land, maybe play the Cavern into that land, into the city. But anyway, in like 2015 Modern or something, my opponent has a bunch has basically nothing. I have a Mind Sensor and they cast Scape Shift. The only way this Scape Shift lethals me is if the top of their deck is 4 mountains. And then I die because their top of the deck is 4 mountains. Mind Sensor just completely fucked me.
Too good.
This plow is currently uncastable, but yeah, this is the part of the game that gets a little more awkward when you are on the like cut initiative creatures plan. But I think this type of game favors us more than it favors the opponent.
Yeah,
especially considering like if we hadn't drawn that plow and the opponent had like Thoughtseize initiative creature, something like that, we could easily just have been flattened. Or even if we did draw plow, if they had like reanimated a white plume here over a Elite Spellbinder, we'd just be dead. Other times Mind Sensor has fucked me. In round 2 of the showcase challenge, my elves opponent cast a natural order into my Mind Sensor and hit Crater of. Just Mind Sensor has never once done anything good for me. Yeah, we can play this Plains.
Yeah, this is nice because it also leads into just city next turn. If we draw to like Solitude, Chromox pitch swords, and then we have Solitude.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't draw anything relevant, we can also just play Cavern Elemental, and then we can like cast any spell in our deck. I think at that point.
Nice.
With Cavern Elemental plus City of Traders. Oh, or we can just draw the best card in our deck. I don't know if they can beat that one. Yeah, they might just actually be Stone Cold Dead to Canary Priest.
It's 5 mana, Hardcast Grief.
Cast Grief.
That's fine because it comes in. We can
cast all our spells.
Exactly.
We'll just cast our thing and then plow their thing and then. And now we begin the slow march of killing them with the 2/2.
One card I have seen that actually is a lot more castable than I thought it would be is that Amiria's Call.
Oh yeah, I've cast a lot of Amiria's Calls. Fun fact about Amiria's Call, the angel tokens are angel warriors, so they will trigger on Seasoned Dungeoneer.
Nice.
They are one of the party types, which makes sense because it came out in the same set back in Zendikar Rising. All right, well, goodbye, Leyline of the Void. You've outlived your usefulness anyway. One day we'll draw a spell.
Yeah, I think here, like, they have to go towards, like, Dark Writ into Archon, potentially.
Yeah, they need to hard cast things. Or, we draw anything. Well, this is certainly a game of Magic.
This is what the viewers want.
The old turn 11 attack for 2, put you to 14. They're getting there.
Okay, there we go.
Cast
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
So now we're insulated against hard cast a giant creature. I'm probably just never casting this until they thought sees us or cast giant creature. I don't think I want to accelerate the clock more than I want to just exile a creature that they play.
Yeah, the only cards I can think of that get rid of Containment Priest are like maybe like Collective Brutality, like Massacre. Have you played against much Virtue's Ruin?
I have had it cast against me a couple of times. Not super often. I think people pretty quickly realize that that's not what you wanted to be doing. All right, now we'll cast one on instead.
Yep, nice.
Accelerate this clock a little bit.
That's the thing, like, I've cast it to get rid of 2 creatures, but they already had the initiative, so it's like, well, they're already, like, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, it's like casting Supreme Verdict. Like, sure, it's a 1 mana discount on Supreme Verdict, but like, oh, they actually doing it? They're trying so hard.
Archon, yeah. I assume...
Sack the Solitude, yeah. So cast it with the Archon trigger on the stack.
Yeah.
So we get to keep the Containment Priest in play. Then we can discard anything that isn't the Solitude. The Leyline, I guess, because that's actually worthless. Actually, we could like throw Mox, pitch the Leyline.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Discard anything that isn't the Solitude.
Alright, they're back up to 18.
They're down a Petal and a Dark Ritual. We'll get there eventually.
Oh my gosh.
All right, well that helps our clock. We can cast one of these on end step again.
3, 4, 5. Nice.
Go beat downs. Get him, Container Priest.
I'd love if they do it in. Oh, okay.
Just entombing for like a looting, I guess. Try to dig for more dark rituals.
Iona.
Yeah, they're not casting that Iona, I guess.
They must have drawn the Entomb, or else you'd probably do it in upkeep before you draw, in case you draw into it.
Wait, they entombed. Oh, wait, they entombed the Iona? What? I thought they were gonna entomb. Well, no, they entombed looting and cast it. Right? No, I don't even know what's happening anymore. They can do whatever they want. I don't think there's a reasonable way that they're gonna win this game. They could have anime deaded our Solitude and exiled our Container Priest. That'd actually be kind of terrifying.
But doesn't it get?
Oh no, they can't. Container Priest.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm thinking about the ley line. Yeah, this is a matchup that can be improved for initiative if you like. I think Container Priest is one of the best cards you can play for it, but it's just I don't care enough about Reanimator to like play a bunch of Container Priests right now. But you like easily swap even Mind Sensors for more priests or something.
Yeah, nice. I mean, kudos to my opponent. I don't think I've played 16 turns against Reanimator in one game.
16 turns is probably more than like the combined total number of turns I've played against Reanimator in the past year. All right, we got him. 6 life.
I think end step we just cast the Solitude.
Yeah, we can end step, set up lethal if they don't cast like another Archon this turn or something. Oh, thank God.
We're on the board, John. Nice.
These have been some real games. I mean, these are the types of decks that people want to be bringing to try to fight initiative. I don't think Reanimator's matchup is like that good, but it's definitely better than trying to fight the fair deck fight for a lot of decks. Try to go under.
Yeah, I think if you want to get on top of initiative, then playing a Lotus Petal deck makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
How do you find the depths matchup?
I've been pretty happy with it. It's been a little bit scarier. It can feel like playing as elves sometimes, where they can kill you out of nowhere, but you also have to fight this like weird mid-rangey game. Yeah. Except that you can interact a lot better with the Merit Ladies than you can with like Natural Order Crater Hoof.
Okay. Yeah, that's very true.
And the deck just has so much removal that it's easy to just kind of go one for one. You cast a White Plume, and then you have like 4 Solitude, a bunch of Touch the Spirit Realms, Sideboard Plows, stuff like that. You should like point and click. Sylvan Safekeeper can be a pain, especially since we cut the Anointed Peacekeepers.
Okay. Yeah, I guess like if if like True Name or Safekeeper or Elves become like a real hassle, you do have Holy Light.
Holy Light is a card that's on my radar. I registered Blessed Alliance in the showcase qualifier.
Oof, nice.
I didn't get to cast it, but
look at this,
there are
John.
a couple like terrible niche cards. All right, hand's great.
What do you put underneath the Chromox? Because you already have the initiative? Well, I guess it really depends on what they play.
Yeah, or no, we're on the play, so
yeah,
we have to decide. But I think the answer is just Balance Jailer. I think we're just killing them.
Okay. Chromox, pitch White Plume.
Just don't exile the White Plume and you're fine. Yeah. I think I just like going full beatdowns with these sorts of hands.
Yeah, also getting the planes here is just so nice because it means that we can hold the Ijano if really needed. Like a second white source.
Aganjo has been really impressive as the like flex white land. The fact that this deck plays 2 Aganjo, 1 Caracas split, it's like pretty telling about how powerful the card is in this strategy.
Yeah.
It makes sense because the only thing you want to do is never lose the initiative, so you just want spells in your deck.
How do you?
Cast?
Yeah, how do you find 8-cast as a deck that goes wide?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the closer matchups. One of the matchups I'm like less comfortable with, but with these kind of starts, it's very hard to lose. We're just gonna beat them to death. They're gonna be at 10 life next turn, and we're gonna have like unblockable threats unless they draw into a Force of Will off these baubles or something.
Yeah, I guess Cavern's probably a reasonable draw if it's not going to be another threat.
But yeah, they didn't play a creature on turn 1 too, so we're gonna have the initiative for multiple more turns. They're just gonna get buried. They only cracked 1 bauble too, so the odds of them having Force isn't. I guess they cast 2 thought casts, so I'm just always gonna Plains Dungeoneer here.
Yeah, because with Mox Opal they already have 3 mana, so they actually don't need this for Moxen. Obviously, it's trying to save
they
it.
kept it around some of the baubles.
Ooh.
Plains Dungeoneer, pre-combat it because you can Dungeoneer trigger onto your White Plume. Wow. No Force, alright. We're also rolled up turn 4, cast this Amaria's Call.
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah, because we get the treasure.
Yes,
that's insane.
No, treasure's on the other side. We're just gonna play Ancient Tomb and then play Aganjo. They'll be dead by then,
but that's actually
I'd keep that.
Yeah,
seems better than a random card. We can just hardcast it next turn.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Amaria's Call is in this deck because it's a land that pitches to Chrome Mox and Solitude. Yeah, these are the type of games that it's just impossible to lose. You cast your initiative card on turn 1, you cast your initiative card on turn 2, your opponent did nothing, and they die.
Okay, so Lorwyn and Touch and Nullrod seem like winners because it's obviously against an artifact deck.
Yes, and I also bring in all the plows.
Cool.
And then we'll cut, I guess we probably can cut the ballistas again. Ballistas, spellbinders. That looks good. Ballistas, jailers, and keep 1 spellbinder, I guess.
Nice.
So this matchup can be a little bit hard to protect initiative, especially against like Psy.
Yeah.
Them going wide can be kind of an issue. But a big thing about the initiative is that you are perfectly fine trading it back and forth a lot of the time. So this deck doesn't play a lot of removal. So if you just have a Seasoned Dungeoneer, they hit you with a Thopter, take the initiative. You don't care that much as long as you're just hitting them back every single turn.
Yeah. Especially from a damage rate standpoint. Like, take 1,
yes.
You take 3.
Yes, the initiative kills so fast. Forge, put 2 counters on your thing. Trap, deal them 5.
Oof.
Deal.
Deal.
Like, this deck gets this hand so often. That's why it's so messed up. Sometimes you don't draw this hand and you play a real game of Magic, but very often you're just like, all right, well, what are they going to do?
Yeah, especially when you have 8 soul lands, you have 8 Chrome Mox effects, and then you have 8 Adventurer. I guess you have to get the extra mana for Seasoned Dungeoneer, but still. Huh. Okay. They played out the Moxen.
We'll see what we draw here.
City.
Okay. Probably pretty keen on pitching the Amaria's Call then, now that we have another land.
Yeah, and we have no double white sword, double white spells in hand, which is really nice.
Yeah, no double white spells in the deck anymore after we cut Jailer. Oh, I guess Solitude, but...
Oh, nice. That's a really nice point to pick up on, especially post-board, to just think about that, because then it kind of just takes away any thought process of like, oh, do we need double white?
Yeah, especially like Cavern decisions. It's definitely a skill that's important to like focus in on. Is like, what am I doing with my mana? Because this deck does have a pretty tight mana base for a mono white deck. Yeah, I expected this to get Force of Willed based on their very weak start. But then we can just play Dungeoneer. Sigh.
Okay.
Maybe we weren't. Oh, this is just Emery. Mill anything scary? A Needle, Cannoneer. Huh, they're not kind of scary.
What do you think about Swords and Thalia this turn?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Would you take a lot of damage, but
Let me save the city for next turn with the Dungeoneer.
yeah, I think I'm fine with that. Take like 5, which is a little bit awkward, but they don't have this Opal online, right? So we can sequence this Thalia first, just in case the last card's like force blue card for this Emery. I don't even know how much I would care, but you play turn 1 Thalia as force will bait, maybe, but I just don't think they're likely to force a will it. Maybe that means you're supposed to play it just to like tax the mana, assuming that they have force of will in hand.
Yeah, it's always a tough one with like baiting out a force or baiting out a bolt. Like
Yeah,
in
we could easily just be like time walking ourselves if we don't play into it. Like the fact that we had Dungeoneer rolled up means that like if they didn't play a creature that turn, it means that we could just continually cast more spells to put pressure on them.
Sorry, I should have cast this first.
That doesn't matter. Thalia doesn't trigger it. Human soldier, not Thalia's not a fan of parties.
She's not a team player. There's probably no chance that they cast a creature in this main phase, so yeah, I think we
can't
just
hold up plow unless our Thalia dies anyway, so just don't take the 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't love saying that games are over when your opponent's at like 16 life, but not gonna say it.
Yeah. Especially for turn 3 for this sort of deck to not really have much of a board state is pretty.
Yeah. And we have a plow in our hand for like the first creature.
Yeah.
They're just too far behind. Unless they have like flash in, Hull Breacher, Dismember your Dungeoneer. Even then, we just take the initiative back to Thalia.
Exactly.
Just like, yes. These are the game states where often your opponent is dead, but it will take them a turn or two to actually figure it out.
This is how I feel right now.
Are we the bad? We are in fact the baddies. Well, I mean, we played against Reanimator and like Turbo Wheels, so like we're the good guys some of the time in this league.
We're just going Forge here. Don't really care. Forge,
kill him. It's like some incentive to put the Forge on Dungeoneer to play around a top deck Dismember.
Nice.
Dismember right now, then it's like a little awkward. I feel like they would have cast it if they had it last turn. Oh, great. I guess that's a reason to not put the counters on Dungeoneer, because we could like flicker, but also we just hold this, touch the Spirit Realm forever. We're also fine with that. What's happening? Bounce spell?
Oh,
sure. Yeah.
We just get it back.
All right, well, I'll cast it. Dang, you got me. You could also, yeah, it just doesn't matter. They can't counter. They only have 1 card left. It's not like they can force it on the way back down. Yeah, they're doing a lot of struggling for nothing. They're doing the mental calculus here, figuring out how dead they are. All right, we'll just go to trap, put you 7.
Kind of turns off the Ancient Tomb as well.
Yeah. 5 showing at least. Could have maybe... it doesn't matter. They are incredibly dead, but we have exactly 6 mana here. So we could have, like, cast Season Dungeoneer plus Channel Touch on it, and just like went all the way to archives.
Oh, that's cool.
Again, they're just dead, so like it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, this being instant speed with the channel has come up a lot in the game.
So just Jerome is low key like one of the secret pieces of glue for the deck. Like the card is much better than it reads. Like uncounterable flicker, main deckable removal spell.
Yeah, I feel like this is the chicken, but this is the secret herb and spice.
We got
all right.
That one we definitely we're a little bit of the bad guys there. Other two matches so far, we were very firmly the good guys. Look, we're bringing Thalia into a tier 1 archetype. How bad of guys can we be?
Yeah, it's very true. Yeah, actually that changes how I think about this deck. So nice. Have you got any plans for any big events in 2023?
I don't have any concrete plans, but I have a unofficial New Year's resolution of trying to go to more paper events in 2023, just because I had a lot of fun with the ones I did go to in 2022. I wanted to go to more of them.
That's cool. I saw your mono red foil deck with all the different types of cards. That was pretty. Yeah, like I already don't like playing against decks that aren't like aesthetically pleasing. So sitting down against that and you're like Talon Moon or something, I'll just
the Secret Lair moons look so good, honestly. Like the golden ones, they're great. Big fan. I think I'm missing some. I don't think I own all the initiative cards in paper, honestly. Yes, these blood moons.
Oh, this thing. Ugh. Have we been on the play every game other than the first?
No, we were on the draw against. We lost the die roll once. I think we lost the die roll against the mono blue deck because we played turn 1 White Plume and then got turn 2 Narsetted.
Correct.
Deck.
Interesting hand. Mana's on point. We have a turn 1 Thalia, but
the issue is that we don't have anything else. So I think these hands in the blind are traps. It's like we can cast a turn 1 Thalia, even uncounterable Thalia. We could like Chrome Mox, pitch, Amaria's Call, Cavern, play Thalia, and then we have like Plains and Lotus Petal, and we have 4 mana. We can almost cast a Solitude. That doesn't feel good enough.
Yeah. I'm happy with that. Ooh. Close, but no second white source.
Things start to get a little dicey here. And feel the pains of the mana base. I think I'm fine going to 5. This deck, mulligan. Like any hand that like plays turn 1 Chalice or anything.
This is pretty close.
Yeah, this is good enough. Turn 2 White Bloom. If it resolves, you can like get your 4 drops. I'm probably shipping Dungeoneer Thalia.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you want a cool spell. You could ship Dungeoneer maybe, but I think I'd rather have the Dungeoneer in hand than the Thalia, because we're not casting with Thalia anytime soon.
Yeah, it's very true.
White Bloom, we're probably going to draw a land or a mana source to cast out Season Dungeoneer, even if the White Bloom gets forced. And if it doesn't, it provides the land for the Dungeoneer.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, I think like I would probably say I'm a pretty safe player in that Thalia is kind of my plan against combo, but I do like the thought of
my plan against combo is go to the post-board games.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think we'll have identified enough to like play a turn 2 Thalia to like get that read.
Leading on Caracas is probably just the safe bet here, although it does open us up. I think Wasteland either way is pretty tough, but at least Caracas does allow us to...
I think Wasteland's more brutal if they Wasteland our Tomb, because we're like 2 lands behind. If they Wasteland us Caracas, we just need to draw a white source. Flooded Strand, that's mostly good matchups. Wait.
Pitching Baleful Strix.
I don't really know what's happening anymore. It's not good for us, but I don't know what's happening. What does Baleful Strix Grief Flooded Strand mean?
Oh, don't do it. Don't
Shock,
you?
water, shadow with grief.
And Strix. Okay.
Strix main deck I can see as like a move towards like initiative hedging, but like the grief is really weird.
Yeah, unless they have like a reanimate kind of package in there. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty tough.
We just touch this, then we win. Just channel touch on it.
Oh, nice.
It's a very inadvisable play. Do they have a basic to get? Oftentimes this deck fails to find.
Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, I don't recommend taking your initiative opponent's stuff a ton.
I just want to save this.
Especially when you know the Touch of the Spirit Realm is in the hand.
Cool. This untaps. Yeah, I guess like this is a card that people are still learning to realize how good it is, or what it actually like does.
Remember to channel and not cast.
Yeah, do we just do this at the like beginning of their combat?
You just do it now. You just do it now. Because then you take the initiative from them, they don't get to trigger it in their upkeep.
Ah, perfect.
Yoink.
Nice.
A play that our opponent will likely only do once.
Okay. Oh, they actually conceded? They that's it? Oh, okay. Well, that's a good 3-pointer. Okay.
I mean, they know we have like turn 2 Dungeoneer lined up too. Jeez, they could have just reanimated their grief, and then we just lose that game not close.
Yeah. Tough. Okay. Swords, pretty easy one.
Yes. I'm
Walking
just
Ballista?
operate on the assumption that they're like a weird Death Shadow deck. Probably just bringing in touch too. Against most like the Delver-esque strategies, I just like to go up on all the removal.
Yeah, nice.
These Walking Ballistas have just looked horrible all week. We could probably just go up the mirror. They just don't have. They're just going to outsize all of our creatures. And then shave Thalias.
Yeah, I don't mind going to one.
Seems fine.
I wonder if they're like a Plague Engineer deck,
Black.
maybe?
Yeah, they could easily have like Sideboard Plague Engineers. That's another thing that I'm not in love with Spellbinder about, is that it does weaken you to like neg1 or like Pyroclasm based hate cards with like Thalia plus Spellbinder.
I think we got a winner here.
Snap keep. Hand's great. And hand is pretty Thoughtseize proof. Or I guess grief proof.
Hey Lord, thanks for the sub with Prime. A huge thank you. Oh, it's just a pass? Okay.
They're just
Okay.
passing. I'm just gonna slam Chalice of the Void, I think.
On one?
Yeah. Maybe we want to play with the Chrome Mox.
Play around days?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of forgot that they were Days deck. I don't think it's the end of the world even if they do Days this, honestly. I think it was relatively free too, especially because the Spellbinder is like not very good. The fact that we drew an easily pitchable white card. But
That's
again,
tough.
I'm not that unhappy if this just gets dazed and we just get to cast the rest of our spells.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Okay.
They didn't have a turn 1 play, which means they probably don't have an important... So they might. But Shadow's not really known for putting a creature into play on 1 mana. Like, in the early game.
Yeah.
So... there's a reasonable chance that... oh, we could get Wastelanded, I guess. Yeah. That's fine. We have multiple mana sources here. Oh, that's a really good one. Now we cast our White Plume.
Yeah.
Probably pitching... so we're going to have 2 mana. We're going to go up to 3 mana, assuming this White Plume resolves. Means I think I want to pitch one of these 4-drops, even though Spellbinder isn't very good. It's at least something we can cast next turn.
Yeah.
So I'm probably pitching Dungeoneer because I want a removal spell in our hand.
Nice. I like that.
Maybe this is dicey. If they have Force of Will, then we want Dungeoneer over Jailer, but think this is fine.
Nice. John, do you feel it? Do you feel that power?
It's the feeling every time you cast away Bloom Adventure. It doesn't go away.
Especially the untap. Like, the untap is just nuts.
The tap is, like, really relevant because you just get to punch them in the face and also protect the initiative. They have Snuff Out, maybe? Yeah, I'm just gonna go beatdowns. Just kill them.
That's pretty nice. Sure.
I think. Oh, I'm just attacking first, see what happens if they have Snuff Out.
Yeah.
That'll help us.
No, and then I guess we can. I think we set up Elite Spellbinder into Palace Jail if they have Death Shadow.
Yes, I'm definitely casting Spellbinder this turn. I'm just wondering if I wanted to play around Daze. I don't think I do. I think if they just cast Daze again, then they're just going to die. They're literally dead, actually, next turn if they just Daze, so... This way we can play the Jailer around Daze and keep our mana restable. Oh, they're just dead. Nice.
Come on, John. They're just dead. Right. Oh my gosh.
Giving them the business. 0-2 into 2-0-2-0-2-0. Still wondering what that Grief Death Shadow list looks like. Something interesting.
Yeah. Because I assume it maxes out on Thoughtseize because of the synergy with Death Shadow, and then they obviously just
weird. Like Grief doesn't do a lot in that. I mean, like, maybe there's like really high on casting Reanimates. They have like multiple Reanimates in the deck.
Yeah,
it's like that sort of combination of the Grief, you reanimate Grief, hit you again. Now I have a 3/2. In addition to just like having extra disruption.
Oh, you might know this. So there's obviously that really well-known game between Raptor on Death Shadow against Alan Wu, I believe, on D&T at the 25 Pro Tour.
Yep.
Do you know, someone on YouTube did like a really good breakdown of that match on YouTube, and I can't remember who did it. But with like...
also all this.
Yeah.
I would have to do some like digging around on YouTube to find that video.
Yeah, it's tough.
I'm sure if you just like tweeted it, I'm sure someone would remember.
Yeah. It was really good.
I very distinctly remember like that breakdown video, but I don't remember who did it. It was such a sick match too.
Yeah, I remember that like triple days on the Batterskull.
Yeah.
And then I think
Alan beat like what 3 Dread Knights or something that were in play.
Yeah, with like a Revoker and some equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that Pro Tour is really cool to go back and watch because there's so many like good formats, or like healthy formats. Because I get Death Shadow was kind of the big breakout deck of that format of that.
Death Shadow was like the secret tech that a lot of people were bringing to that event.
Yeah, similar to like Eldrazi Winter, but just not as powerful.
Yeah, it was a little unusual. I didn't expect Death Shadow to be like as prominent as it was.
Yeah, I remember seeing like the first like turn 1 like Street Wraith reanimate, and I was like, oh, whoa!
Cycle Street Wraith reanimate it.
It's like beat my 3/4. All right, on the play. Oh, up against Julian, most likely on elves.
He's been playing a lot of Painter lately.
Oh, that's very true as well.
All right, Snapkeep.
Yeah, I mean we have the
either deck. We're very happy to have this hand. Question is, what are we pitching to this Chromox?
The Spellbinder.
Yes, I agree. I think we're just probably going to cast Jailer on turn 2 if he runs out of creature.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, we just have like we can cycle touch on our thing, or if he is on elves, then we can potentially set up like Solitude, Touch, Solitude, kill 2 things.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. At least the
A real
first land should give away what he's on. Like, Painter and Elves don't have too much crossover.
Yeah, should be pretty clear. I think he like he top 8'd. Did he get like second or something? And like
Yeah, he got second.
last week? Oh, this is great. Yeah, now we just get to cast Palace Jailer on this. We just have Touch and Solitude back. Yeah, so this is the big thing, is that people tell me that this deck has bad matchups, and obviously no deck, or not very many decks are going to have no bad matchups, but like even in your bad matchups, there are just hands that you will just steamroll your opponent and they won't get to do anything. Like, we're just going to be so massively ahead in this game. It's just like very unfathomable that Julian has a shot here.
That's what you'd have, like, Solitude backup. Insane.
Yeah, we have Solitude backup. If we draw a white card, we have like
gosh.
Touch and Solitude. Oh yeah, although we all, yeah, whatever.
Like,
Embarrassment of riches. We just have everything. Yeah, sure. Resolves.
Okay, so they do have Blast up here.
We have 2 removal spells if we need them.
Yeah. So it would be cool if we had...
We might have wanted a Solitude in response to that pedal, actually.
Yeah, my bad. That's definitely on me.
But we'll just take our draw step first, assess what we want to do from there.
What is Arena? No, okay.
Arena's go to target creature, go to trap. That thing gets messed up if there's a Painter in play, so none of the rooms look correct. Just Magic Online things. It treats Undercity as blue as a room, so suddenly every line of text gets pushed down.
Do you want to start with attacking and then see if we can Ajano the Painter Servant if they block the Jailer?
We would need a mana in play to do that, which would mean
1, 2.
Oh
yeah, cool.
Cast the Chromox, but I don't really want to cast the Chromox.
Mm.
Although, no, yeah, because we need to cast the Solitude and the Touch this turn, assuming that they have Pyroblast. So I think I would just start off Solitude, pitch White Plume, assuming it gets Pyroblasted, and then just cast Touch after that.
Do we also have, like, Touch on our Jailer at instant speed?
You could just touch I guess maybe that is better. Oh, no, because they still have removal. They don't have to counter, they just kill the Jailer in response. So it does the same thing. It does cost less mana, but you still have to end up pitching the White Plume and probably playing the land.
Yeah.
So it's probably just Solitude, pitch White Plume. It gets countered. Play land, cast Touch, target Painter, attack for 7, put them to 3.
Yep. Okay.
I think this would be going... I think I'd be happier if... Oh, this just resolves them. That life is great. Alright. Now you just attack them. We don't necessarily have to play this land. We're not holding up a Ganjo here, but...
Yeah, I like that a lot.
There's a chance we like draw a different land. We don't have to play that with the Ganjo. I guess we're drawing 2 cards a turn, so maybe we just wanted to have all our mana under us. I'm probably gonna...
You go, sir.
If they like play another creature here, I think I'm just channeling. What is this? 5 mana Fury?
That's fine, because we can channel the...
We're just going to channel the Jailer in response, because they can only kill the Jailer. Yeah, they're just literally dead. Gotcha.
Nuts. Wow. This deck. Ugh. Ugh.
Yes. These are the games that just like... People have told me Painter's not a great matchup, and I'm inclined to agree with them. I haven't played against Painter enough to like feel super confident in my assessment, but like sometimes you just have your just super aggro starts with a couple of removal spells and you just get to flatten them.
Yeah. So these three I would say are definites, and then these four are most likelies.
I'm bringing in everything removal spell related, and then I'm cutting the Thalias and the Chalices.
Yeah, I guess Ballista's not too bad here because even trading with a welder is quite nice.
Yes, killing Welder is Engineer a 1/2?
Correct.
Be a little awkward, but
Correct.
need one card. Mind Sensor do anything? Only against Saga. And
I guess
Engineer.
Yeah. Also, it's a flyer.
Have one. Yeah. So the big thing about this matchup is being concerned about Fury. So that's one of the reasons I like cutting down all the Thalias. It's just like you want to reduce your ability to get like 2 for 2 off of a Fury.
Yeah, I like that.
But Mind Sensor also has Flash, so that can help it like not just get eaten by a Fury.
Turn one Jailer?
Turn one Jailer on the draw isn't unreasonable, especially backed up by Solitude. I'm into this hand.
Yeah, and then we also
like Tomb Petal, Mox, Pitch, Call, cast Jailer. If they don't play a creature on turn one, oh well, don't have to think about that. Just gonna Jailer this Fable token. Not my favorite target, but you know, we take what we can get. That's a great draw.
I assume we just get rid of a Solitude here, but getting rid of the touch is interesting.
I think I'm just getting rid of Amiria's Call. Is that weird? I just want to...
Oh, yeah, no. Because I think we're just going to draw into mana anyway.
Yeah, we're just going to draw a bunch of the cards anyway off of Jailer. We just want to keep all the removal spells in our hand and try to cast them as efficiently as possible. Yeah, we have like Flicker Jailer available. We have like the Evoke Solitude, Channel on Solitude line up as well. We have this Mind Sensor now. Probably just gets exiled, but we could potentially try to hit an Engineer activation or something. Or...
Okay.
All right, so here's the sauce. Here's the sick thing we get to do now. It's just Evoke plus Channel on your own end step, because their Fable will flip, so that we'll be guaranteed a target for the Solitude that comes in on their turn. On their
nice.
So we just attack them, go to our own end step, and cast Solitude, pitching. I don't know. How do you feel? Mind Sensor or Spellbinder?
Do we get to draw first and then see?
Oh yeah, we just draw an even worse white card. Probably not possible, but technically we also don't need to kill this Welder right now, but I want to do this anyway, especially while their shields are down. I think I like pitching Spellbinder because I think there's a Fury waiting for us at some point. So yeah, target that, cycle or channel, and then the Solitude will come back on their end step, and they're guaranteed to have a creature in play because this Fable's going to flip.
John, come on.
Unfortunately, that leaves us with exactly 4 toughness worth of things to get Furied, but we have Monarch going, we have more creatures and more removal spells, so kind of fine with it.
Ooh.
I don't know what this card does.
Alright, so 3 mana 2/2 double strike. When it ETBs from your graveyard, you may discard your hand if you do draw 3 cards. Otherwise it does.
Don't read the backside to me. Never. If someone ever flips a Mishra against me, they got me. Doesn't matter right now. It's just a 2/2 double strike. Yeah, they get to kill a Reflection. We'll probably end up killing both because I think we're just gonna get Furied next turn. But
so close.
Do we think you just want to plow this? Well, yeah, we just need to get in damage.
Yeah.
It's awkward that we can't rebuild a board this turn if we get Furied, but that's fine. If we don't find a white source in 2 draw steps or whatever, we can still Solitude the Fury, pitch Mind Sensor. Although they don't have the Fury in play.
Tough.
They have. Oh, well, I guess he didn't have anything.
Nice. That was pretty
That
sweet.
was a beating. We just beat people up for 4 matches.
That was...
We got beat up once, but like, ugh.
Damn. Yeah, a little bit gobsmacked. To go 0-2, then just obviously just kind of take down the rest was really, really nice.
2-0, 2-0, 2-0. Like,
yeah.
That was game 2, so they conceded game 2, and which was the match, yeah.
So we played against the like Karn Echo, and then we played against
Karn, Turbo Echo, whatever. Then we're 2-0'd Reanimator, 2-0'd 8cast, 2-0'd Shadow, 2-0'd Painter.
Yeah, I mean, deck felt really good. It just shows you, like, sort of, if you take these 8, and then, like, these, like, this little section is just so good. And then to think you have all of this to help you with the rest of it is just, yeah, pretty insane. Like, and the nice thing about mulliganing with the deck is that even if you go to 6, but you get a turn 1 White Plume, you get your card back straight away.
Yeah. Very easy to rebuild. Like, we spewed a bunch for a turn 1 Palace Jailer, but then it's turn 1 Palace Jailer, so it just draws you a bunch of cards. Initiative does something similar, but it also, like, kills them, which is very nice.
Just insane. What about yourself with streaming? Do you have any plans to return, or do you kind of keep streaming as just kind of like a one-off when you feel like it?
Yeah, I've gotten to the point where I just kind of stream when I feel like it. I have never streamed with this deck, and I've have had people ask me about it, so maybe I'll fire up a stream. Maybe I'll stream like one of the showcases, or not showcases, one of the supers this weekend for fun. I don't have a lot of stakes in this event, so I'm not super keen on going back to the regional or the regional championships, so maybe I'll just stream one of those to hang out.
Nice. That's sick. Yeah, for anyone viewing right now, we have a pretty cool lineup coming up. So obviously we just streamed with John. A big thank you for coming back. On Tuesday we have Mark Strassman playing Mav. We have Max Dortion playing Bant, and then Jono Yannick is back playing Naya Depths. And then on Wednesday we have Hello Newton playing Fiend Maverick Elves, and then finishing off with Ali on lands. Which, how do you find the lands matchup? Because Ali's been testing a few different things and isn't too sure how to attack the matchup.
Lands matchup is very good for this deck, and I don't know that there's a ton that lands gets to do to try to combat it is the issue.
Yeah.
Like, the big thing that we always come back to is, like, you need a mixture of board stickiness and board control, and lands doesn't really have either of those in spades, especially with, like, punishing fire engines against, 3/3s and 3/4s, and like putting forge counters on stuff. And it also just doesn't have a lot of creatures in it, so like you can mess around with boarding in more removal, but then you can't take the initiative back. You can board in creatures, but then you can't kill their creatures. It's like lands is in a very, very rough spot in this matchup.
Yeah. What about pivoting to like the 8 mulch or the
I think the 8 mulch strategy is definitely more reasonable, but that deck definitely has a better initiative matchup than normal lands does. But that deck also needs to just have its god hands get every game where it's just going to get run over. You need to be going like turn 1 enabler, turn 2 mulch into a bunch of stuff, spew your hand, get like a big zombie board. This deck doesn't interact with that very well outside of like playing a turn 1 chalice to turn off the enabler. But I think that's a much more reasonable route if you want to continue playing a lands, or at least lands adjacent strategy. Definitely doesn't give the same vibes as classic lands.
Yeah, it's very true. It's a really tough deck to combat.
Yeah, and that's something that I've been loving this deck, honestly. I've been having a ton of fun with it, but I will readily admit that I don't love the initiative as a mechanic. It forces people to play this creature sub game. Like, you're just forcing people to have to play this game or they're going to die, or they go around it. Like, you either play a fast combo deck, or you do need this mixture of now suddenly my deck needs to be playing to the board and killing things and doing all this other stuff at like a very rapid pace that like not a lot of decks are prepared for.
Yeah, I can kind of find similarities between the initiative and Oko in gameplay, where against like Bant decks, I would have to focus on this Oko to get it off the board, and then once it's off the board, I look back at the rest of the board, and it's like, oh, they've actually just built out a whole nother game plan that I can't beat.
Yeah.
And yeah, it can be really tough. I put that min-max blog post that you recently did on the deck in chat for anyone who wants to check it out. It is, yeah, a really good piece. I feel like it's become aware that you can put together some really good content very quickly, which is kind of, yeah, obviously quite good for min-max. When are they going to change it to minmaxjohn.com?
Yeah, I'll have to get on that. Or change my name to something that starts with an M.
Yeah, I'll speak to Max about it. But yeah, John, a huge thank you for coming on again. Do you have anything that you want to plug? Other than obviously Owl House?
Other than the Owl House, which hopefully most of the people already know, but go watch the Owl House. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to plug. This deck's great. I've been enjoying it. I very much sympathize with the people that aren't enjoying it. My third point in the article is like the ways to beat this deck. Number 1 is like go wide. Number 2 is go under. And number 3 is go away. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I do mean that in a way of like it's going to take a little bit for this deck to equalize or be very apparently broken. So I think it's very reasonable to need to take a break. I took like a several month break during like Snowco because the meta was like my least favorite time playing Magic and maybe ever. It's like if you're having fun, just there's things outside of Magic. Sometimes you just gotta like wait, see where the meta ends up. And I do my sympathies for the people that aren't enjoying it, and for those of you that do enjoy it or think you would enjoy it, play this deck because it's very, very powerful.
Yeah, and again, right now it's quite good as well because MTGO does have I think it's $25 for the token, which gives you access to all cards, which I believe includes these.
Yes, you have the all access token will give you all the cards.
Okay, perfect.
Also, I think they I haven't checked on the price of the initiative cards in a while, but I think it has dropped. They recently bumped the open rate in chests, I think.
Okay. Yeah, just renting these tonight. I think White Plume was around 40 and Season was around 13.
Oh, maybe the White Plume's still 40. Geez, maybe they didn't raise the chest price enough. So yeah, take advantage of the all access token if you want to try out this deck for sure. But also, if you want to like rent them or buy them, whatever, you easily make your money back. This deck is very good.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Okay. I'm gonna raid Soltowix. John, a huge thank you again. Hope you enjoy Christmas and your time off.
You as well.
And a lot of pats to your hairless cat.
Yes.
I'm a big fan.
My normal haired cat is in the room screaming right now. I don't know where the other one is. Probably under a blanket. She's been under a lot of blankets since the winter storm hit us.
Oh, of course. Smart. I'll probably be doing the same if I was a cat. But yeah, a huge thank you to you guys for coming and watching. I'll be back on Tuesday with another stream, so I'll catch you guys then. But until then, enjoy Kai's stream. Cheers. Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store, where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. All right, let's get right into it.